the foot feel?
Yeah, it's more knee, but it feels okay.
Nothing serious then, or worried about?
What happened on the fumble?
Yeah, I probably should have dealt the ball. Looked like we were pretty gloved at all the spots, but I either should have just got quick out of the pocket or just dumped it somewhere. That's bad play.
You just talk about the 99-yard drive to start, and then what disappeared after that?
Well, the rhythm disappeared, I think, just because it was a real strange game possession-wise. Not a lot of possessions, but high-volume plays. Yeah, I mean, that drive, everybody touched the ball. You know, I felt like we had a couple good runs. Tay had a catch, G had a catch, Conk had a couple. After that, they kind of just sat back in too high most of the game, and we didn't, run the ball super efficiently and didn't throw it very efficiently from that point forward either.
Aaron, you mentioned some positives in today's game. What is some of those positives that you would focus on to take into next week to change things around for you guys?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think I thought Brees played really well. Had some big-time plays in the past game. One had a catch, a 3rd and long where he split 2 guys, got a first down for us. I thought Conk was in the game and made some good plays. A lot of stuff that gets us is the same stuff all season, just the details in some certain areas hurt us in some 4th downs. I missed a couple throws, but we had plenty of chances to convert, had a couple penalties that hurt us on drives as well. So in a game where there's only a few possessions, you got to score every possession.
You spoke going about Olu this week. Just talk about your emotions with him going down today.
Yeah, disappointed for him. He's such a good kid. He got a bright future. Hopefully he avoided any major injury. I don't know. I just saw him in there. Didn't get a chance to talk to him, but hopefully he'll be all right.
You guys ended up with, I think, 44 dropbacks, 20 rushes. When you see the weather like today, you kind of expect it to be a run-heavy game. How much of that was that? How much of that is?
I don't expect it to be a run-heavy game. No. I mean, maybe if it's snowing. Cold weather, man. We throw the ball in cold weather all the time.
Was that called that way, or are you checking out of any runs, or like how much of it is?
I don't think I really checked out of any runs. I threw 2 run solutions. One was an illegal man downfield on a play that would have been -5. And then the other one threw it to Devontae on the right. Other than that, I didn't check out of any.
Garrett, up until the game, the offense's final possession, I think only had 3 targets. Were they doing anything specifically to try to take them?
Yeah, a lot of 2-shell. So there wasn't a lot of singles for him. That's what they wanted to play. Yeah, a lot of 2-shell on the outside. So if he's going to be back by himself, there's going to be safety help a lot.
On the pass to Devontae in the end zone, I think the guy might have punched it out there. That would have been your 500th. Did you know that going in right into that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, wish he would have caught it.
Aaron, one question. How do you approach, keeping the team positive after, a tough loss like this? Not necessarily go your way.
Well, I don't know I think we're kind of past the keeping the positive thing. I think it's just about perspective. Your perspective informs your truth, and your truth makes your reality. So the reality situation is what it is. But your perspective is something you can change every single day. So what you're focusing on is the most important thing now. It's not to change the reality of the situation, being 4-11 out of the playoffs, going into an unknown off season, but you got to figure out what it means to be a professional. I think that's an important part of building culture. And for the last 2 weeks, we can really see who's on board moving forward and who is ready to get out. It's just part of the game. I've been on a couple teams where we're out of it, and it's interesting to watch the practice habits, the preparation habits. Hopefully we'll do the right thing, and that means a lot because everybody's watching, and it's a who-you-know business. So, there'll be interesting conversations in the next couple of weeks, but just focus on the relationships that we have with each other and trying to finish this thing out like a pro.
Do you say anything to to some of those players that look like they might be checked out, or is it just you just kind of let them go and it's kind of showing true colors of anything?
I think you try and say stuff for sure if you care about them. It's hard, it's hard. It's part of it, and I get it. It's been a rough season for all of us, but there's just a way of going about your business. I think that's important to learn in these adverse times. And there's a lot of guys who've really been practicing their butt off and been locked in, and hopefully everybody does that for the last 2 weeks.
Couple more.
How does the experience change for you throwing in Jacksonville versus throwing here, 18 degrees, where you're just used to it from Green Bay?
Yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of games in the cold. Always felt like the pass rush is a little slower in the cold. I felt like the advantage we had a lot in Green Bay was not just the cold weather, but the field, because it was unpredictable, and a lot of guys wouldn't wear 7 studs for whatever reason, comfort-wise maybe, and I like that help us in the passing game. But on an artificial surface, it's a little less, obviously, with the field impacting the game. But I didn't feel like the pass rush was super effective today. I feel like our line blocked them up really good all day. I had plenty of time, and we just didn't get open and hit them when they were open enough.
You stood up there after many losses talking about the little details, like that didn't happen. How frustrating is it to be standing here like this late in the season and still lamenting the same thing over and over again?
Yeah, I mean, it's the reality, Rich. It's been all year. I think that's what needs to clean up moving forward for some of these guys to reach their full potential, is to just lock in on the details. And it's not just this offense. Whatever comes next after this, there's going to be important details in every offense, and that's just the little tweaks that are the difference between explosive gains or conversions and turnover on downs.
How do you fix that then, Aaron? I know it's kind of just a direct question, but you've talked about it a bunch. You aren't the only one. Everyone who said it. A lot of guys realize that the little things are the problem, but they're not getting fixed. So how do you fix that?
Well, Connor, I think we have the ability to inspire, but in the end, motivation comes from within. So it's got to be each person motivated to find the little things in the offense where they can really lock in on the details. Because there's a few plays every single game. It might be a play in the first or second quarter that wins the game, and it comes down to little adjustments or details or reactions in the game, and just training yourself to make the proper reaction. Some of that's setting the standard in preparation, but a lot of it's just on all of us to just care enough to put in that little extra time, I think.